In the last tutorial, we looked at orthogonal axis generation for generating our structural grid on Orion 18 software. The structural grid generated in that tutorial is shown on the screen. In this tutorial, this is part 2 of the tutorial, which I shall explain how we can have control of how we can further manipulate this structural grid to suit our purpose. First, I'm going to talk about how to offset axis, like this. Look at grid 9, structural grid 9. Assuming I've used my orthogonal axis generation and I've generated the grid, and I found out that I have a 10th grid at say 5 meters to the right of grid 9. What do I do to add grid to this drawing? You can use the offset command to add grid. If I want to add, let's say grid 10 to the right of structural grid 9, I will select the text with my cursor. Then I will right click and I will click on offset axis on the menu that appears. When I click on it, I can specify the dimension to offset from grid line 9. So assuming I want the grid to be 5 meters from grid line 9, I'll enter 5,000 mm. The units you specify here is in mm. So our grid, the axis label will be labeled 10. Assuming you want it labeled say 15, you can do that. You can just change it to the number you want, and when you specify it, the axis will be 15. But I want it to be 10, so I will leave it at 10. So after I have provided the information on this axis offset dialog box, I will now click to the left or right of this grid line. If I want the grid to be 5 meters to the right of grid line 9, I'll click to the right. If I want it 5 meters to the left of grid line 9, I'll click to my left, where my cursor is. So I'm clicking to my right to specify grid line 10 at 5 meters from grid line 9. So this is my grid line 10 and it's 5 meters from grid line 9. Another edit I will talk about is not to plot edit. Where can you find this not to plot edit? You can find it when you select an axis. I already have an axis selected, axis 10. I will right click on it. I'll go to the property. Assuming I check here, I click on it, I check it not to plot, and I click update. It means that whenever I'm done with my structural model, I've done my analysis and design, and I want to export my drawing from Orion 18 to AutoCAD. After I've exported the drawing to AutoCAD, the structural grid 10 will not be shown because it has been specified not to plot. So I will select it, go to property, and uncheck the not to plot. Just want you to understand and that too, not to plot. I will update it. You can also move axis. Assuming I want to move grid line B 2 meters upward, I will select it, right click, click the move axis and specify the distance to move. I will enter 2 meters, that is 2,000. I can click up and down. I click up, the grid will move upward. If I click down, the grid will move downward 2 meters. So I'm going to click up to move it upward by 2 meters. So I've moved grid line B. Another tool that we talked about is the stretch axis. The stretch axis, you can stretch the endpoints of your axis. Like this axis, this is the endpoint, this is the endpoint. I can stretch this endpoint to by any amount, by any value I want. I will right click on it, click on stretch axis, and I can choose to stretch this. You understand? It's still selected. I will right click, stretch axis. I can choose to stretch it like this. I will press Ctrl Z on my keyboard to undo my last two previous edits. Now I've removed this my stretch edit which I made. Another edit I'll talk about is the stretch axis to member insertion. Let's say I want to stretch this axis to this point. I want to stretch grid line A to grid line 10, they should intersect. There is a tool called stretch axis to member insertion. I will select the axis, click on stretch axis to member insertion. Once you click it, you have a dialog box. The stretch axis to member insertions. You can do this to not to just a single grid, you can do this to multiple grids at the same time. So here is the axis length will automatically be arranged using the member insertion. Consider axis intersection as well. Check this. Then you, apart from stretching this axis to this point, let's assume you want to stretch. You want this grid line A to be at say 3 meters from grid line 10. You can also specify the axis insertion. I want the axis to stop at grid line 10. I'll change this axis intersection length to 0. But assuming I want it to extend away from grid line 10, I'll give this field a value. So it's at 0 now. So the axis A will intersect with my grid line 10. Apply to selected axis only. Apply to all axes. So I can apply this to just this selected axis grid line A. I can apply to A, D, C, B, E. So I will click this radio button, apply to all axes, and change this to 0. So you see AGCBE will be extended to grid line 10 when I click OK. Wow. Look at what happened here. It not only stretch it didn't only stretch the axis to the grid line 10, it also affected other position. Part of it, we are playing with the tool. We want to know how to manipulate our structural grid on our drawing. So let me see if I can use Ctrl Z to undo my previous. Okay, I'm doing it's applying one by one. I don't think I can. I don't think it will work, but that's the effect we have. Assuming we want to, the other tool called extend axis to a boundary axis. Let me select this axis, this grid line D, right click. I will extend axis to a boundary axis. So this tool is not just for extend, you can also trim. I will explain to you why. So I've selected grid line 10. I will click on extend axis to a boundary axis. If I should click this grid line, the line will not be extended. Instead, the line will be truncated, to be trimmed. So selecting this line, grid line D will be trimmed to grid line 9, intersection of grid line 9. So that will be the effect of this tool. You see the effects? So I can do this. I can do this for all the grid line in that direction. I select this, extend to axis of a boundary axis. So I select, I think I can select multiple. I can select multiple axes. So I will apply to multiple axes at once. Do you want to save changes now? I can apply to multiple axes. Oh, I'm no more in the command. Extend to a boundary axis. Let me see if I can apply. It cannot apply to multiple axes at the same time. You do it one by one. So I will apply it again to an axis. Let me click on this. Sorry. I will select this tool. Extend axis to a boundary line. So extend to a boundary line. Okay, I think what we'll do, we select the axis we want to trim, and we will extend to a boundary line. That's how you can apply it to multiple axes. We can also rotate axis. Let's assume I don't like how my drawing is. Let's assume the vertical grid 1 to 9. I want to extend it upward. What do I do? I think let me use one of the commands. I will select this grid. I can stretch axis to remember it. I can use this tool to stretch it to, like say 2 meters upward. So I will click on stretch axis to member insertion. I'll consider axis intersection. axis extension length 2 meter. Apply to selected axis only. Apply to all the axes. Let me apply to all the axes. See what happens. Everything extends 2 meter outward. So I'm okay. I'll talk about the rotate axis. Assuming our axes are not orthogonal, they are not at right angles. There are maybe one axis at 60 or 30 or 120 degree. How do we rotate the axis? We select. Let's say I want to rotate the line 9. So, or I want to rotate. Let's say I want to rotate the line 9. I will select the line 9. Right click. Click on rotate axis. I can now rotate it. I can specify the angle of rotation, say 30 degree. You will know that the angle of rotation is 30 degree clockwise and clockwise from the horizontal. You will see it now. I see. Oh, sorry. I will do it. Select rotate axis, specify angle as 30 degree. Update. You need to specify your rotation points. Assume I want, okay, this is 39. Update. Assume I want my rotation point to be this. If I select it, the line will be rotated about this intersection point. You can see it, and it's at 30 degree from the horizontal in the clockwise, anti-clockwise direction. I will undo this. Assuming I want to rotate everything by all the axes by 30 degree to the horizontal, I can select all the axes. Wow, I don't have the rotate axis available for me. But let me click on property. Maybe I can rotate. Is there any field for rotation in the axis table? So you cannot rotate all the axes at the same time. You have to rotate them one by one. If you have to do this. There's one last function I want to show you about structural grid on Orion 18. If you go to a structural tree view and click on axis, you can choose to set unused axis as ghost or visible. When you set unused axis as ghost, you see all the structural grid will become gray. What is the use or importance of this set unused axis as a ghost? Assuming I've started certain columns and beams and walls in my drawing, and I want to know the axes that have been used and the axes that have not been used, I can use this to note that. To note that. Now is a set unused axis as ghost. I can return it by just clicking set unused axis as visible. To be visible again. But let me try and explain something. Assuming I insert a column here and here. What this means is that the line A, the line 1, and the line 2 have been used. If I should click on set unused axis as ghost, you will see that the line A1, 2 is still visible while the other grid are ghost. So the use of this function, you use it to know the grid in your drawing that are used and the grid in your drawing that are unused. I will undo all the actions that I've taken so far. I will set the axis as visible again. So we have come to the end of this tutorial session. I will not save. In our next tutorial session, we shall work on our 5-story building project. And we are going to apply what we have learned in the part 1 and this session, part 2 of structural grid on Orion 18. We are going to apply it on our project. We are going to draw our structural grid on this software Orion 18 using all what I've explained thus far. Thank you for watching the video.